All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Bahasham Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on something that I think is very important to mention, right? And it's that the heathen understand everything about the curses, right? When it comes to, okay, we have to make sure that these Israelites keep sinning so that they remain under the curses. We have to do all these things to try and keep them away from being who they are. They understand everything about the curses, except that those same curses that they keep trying to make us stay under, those same curses are good. They're going to be under them, right? They understand. And let's go to the scriptures, and I'm going to go to the scriptures and show why I'm saying these things. And it's based on the things that I was taught, right? Based on the lessons that I've heard, based on all the things that I've heard. Apostles of Great Millstone, bishops of Great Millstone, elders of Great Millstone, brothers of Great Millstone teach. This is what I've came to understand, and based on things that I've also read in the scriptures myself. These heathens understand all these things about our people, how to keep us under the curse, how to do this to us, how to do that to us. They understand everything apart from that they're going to be under the curses one day. They actually think that they can control the curses of Yahweh and make sure that they stay on us, but prophecy says that they're going to be under them one day. This is Psalm chapter 83 and verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And when you think about somebody lifting up their head, right, just consider this, like, every time you walk by somebody on the street, right, they're just timid and look down at the ground. And then they start getting brave and start thinking, you know what, I'm not going to look at the ground anymore. I'm going to lift up my chin. I'm going to look you dead in your eyes. That's what these nations have did to the children of Israel. Because really, they shouldn't even be have the bravery to look us in our face. And that might sound arrogant. I don't really care. Once our full form of is made as being an Israelite, once the true understanding of what Israelite actually is shown by the return of Yahweh Shai, right, who is going to be the most ultimate Israelite. There's not going to be no Israelite higher than him in rank. But if the lowest level of Israelite was to be shown to these heathens, they'd be terrified, man. If the lowest Israelite in the kingdom of heaven was to be shown to these nations right now, they'd be terrified, never mind the top one, right? They shouldn't have the ability, bravery to even lift up their head and to be even brave to say anything against us. But this is the trick that Yahweh's got them in verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. So it was sneaky what they did, because they've pretended in this whole thing of trying to make out like we are not the Israelites, right? They've also been pushing the Bible on us, but under a fake doctrine, under what the apostles of Great Millstone call plantation Christianity, right? They've tricked the world into believing that another group of people are the Jews, but then everybody else doesn't have to use a biblical nationality. Isn't that fascinating? The only people on this earth that subscribe to a biblical nationality are the Hebrew Israelites or the so-called small hats, and the nationality that they claim to be is not really found in the Bible as many times as the word Israelite is. They call themselves Jewish, right? They wish it was that way. They call themselves a Jew. Wish, right? That's what they call themselves. But we call ourselves a Hebrew Israelite, and people think that that's funny. But Abraham was a Hebrew, and Israel was the first Israelite. So being a Hebrew Israelite is not no far-fetched term. There's Hebrews of other nations: Hebrew Moabite, Hebrew Ammonite, Hebrew Edomite, Hebrew Ishmaelite. There's plenty of other Hebrews, right? But we're the Hebrews that can't lose, man. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Let me go back to verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, because they've come up with all these multitude of ways to keep us sinning, so that we remain under the curses, right? In fact, technically speaking, if you could keep Israelites sinning, it would be easier to control an Israelite on this earth than it would be to control any other nation, because any of the other nations are not under the bounds of, if they sin, they get cursed. If they keep the laws, then they're blessed. Keeping the Israelites sinning, the Israelites then have to battle against God in order to stay in power while sinning, and that's impossible. But it's funny because these nations, they knew all these tricks, they took all this crafty counsel against the Israelites, but they didn't remember the latter end, that they're gonna go under these curses, man. I'll read verse 4 and then I'm going to move on to a next Bible verse. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be known in remembrance. And that's why you don't really hear even them claim to be the Israelites, man. They say they're Jew, wish, right? That's what they say. They don't say that they're Israelite. They don't say that they're the children of Israel living. You don't even really hear them mention Israel. Not really, man. They might mention Abraham. They don't really even mention Jacob. They don't really even mention Israel, man. Not really. You don't really even hear them say anything too deep about the Bible. And they're supposed to be the people that are teaching everybody else the laws according to Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. But let me try and remember what other Bible verse I was going to go to. Here's one. Right? Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 12. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall go altogether unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. And they have understood that we went under the curses. Like even in the scriptures, the Moabites, they understood perfectly what the Israelites went through, to the point where one Moabite, or I think he was an Ammonite, he baited out the whole thing, the whole process of the Israelites, man. If they're sinning, we can go up against them. If they're not sinning, fall back, because otherwise we're going to get jacked up. His people didn't like it when they said it. They beat him up, tied him up, right? And left him at the bottom of a hill in the hope that the children of Israel was going to destroy him. But they let him go. I've read the story. I'm pretty certain that that's the way how it goes, man. It was a Moabite or an Ammonite. I want to say, if I had to choose one, I'm going to say Ammon. And he was telling these people, this is what it is with the Israelites, and they didn't want to believe it, man. They just was like, nah, that ain't it. But you know what? Just to be certain, we can go to it right now, right? We can go to the story that I'm on about right now, man, because it might have been a Moabite. Judith chapter 5 and verse 2. Wherewith he was very angry and called all the princes of Moab and the captains of Ammon and all the governors of the sea. Now, let me just quickly scan through and see if I can find out where this man was a Moabite or Ammonite man. See, it's looking like, based on verse 22, it's looking like he was a Moabite. Maybe I was wrong on it. I knew it was one of the two, obviously, anyway. But let me just quickly. So look here. Yeah, he was Ammon. Verse 5. Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant. So he did a deep study, and he understood all of this, and that's what it is with most of these nations at the elite level. They understand, okay, these so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans, they're far superior than us in every single way, but they're stiff-necked and they're rigid towards their God, whose name is Yahweh, right? But they might not even be brave when they speak like this to say his name. They might say whose name is, and then point to the, you know what I mean, whose name is, and they might point to the tetragrammaton in the Paleo Hebrew or something. They might not even be brave in their private quarters to say Yahweh's name, because Yahweh's name's dreadful among the heathen. So they'll be like, they're stiff-necked and they're rigid towards their God, whose name is, you know, and then they'll say the name, which we can say bravely, Yahweh, right? And they'll be like, and if we can get them to sin against their God Yahweh, we can control them. So all we have to do is make the world sinful. And the thing that we call normal anyway, because we're heathens, that's sinful for these Israelites. And if we want to keep the society that we have, right, we need to make them sin. It doesn't matter whether we still go off and we break the laws. It don't matter what we do because we're not under the covenant. We have to make sure that they sin. So we have to make them be happy with being wicked, because in a society where the Israelites are keeping the law, they're the top of everyone else. Even if we was keeping the laws, even because some, when they have these meetings, some other person of the nation might be like, well, okay, so why don't we just keep the laws too then? Because we can do that. I've read their script. I've read their scriptures. I've read their Torah. We can read that. We could keep them laws as well. And then a guy like Achior will be like, listen, stupid dummy, sit your Ammonite ass down and let me score you on some things right quick. Right? Let me show you in their book, Deuteronomy 28, how it is. Right? Because you obviously didn't read hard enough. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, that's talking about those Israelites, to observe to do all his commandments, that's talking about those Israelites. That's not for us. That's talking about those Israelites if they do it, which I commanded this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. That means that even if we kept the laws, but they're keeping them, they still end up above us. So don't come to me with about none of that stupid. Anyone got any bright questions? Anyone got any good ideas? And then that Ammonite that came up with that idea would apologize, sit his ass down, and recognize the truth. The heathen nations need to keep us sinning. They need to keep us under those curses, and they'd be speaking about that in their meetings. We have to make sure that the name of Israel is no more in remembrance, and we have to keep them sinning. So we got to make it cool to be something else, because we all know that if we had a choice, we'd choose to be an Israelite, but we can't let them know that they're an Israelite and that they're the best thing in the world. So what can we do? Let's try and figure out a way to make them be something else. What can we call them? African American. Whoa, yes. I guess. Let's call them African Americans. Yeah. Let's call them, well, their skin's kind of black. Let's call them black. Yes. Okay, so we got that group. But what about the Native American ones? What about the tribe of Gad and all these other ones? Because they don't look exactly the same, because you know that they had a different mother according to their history. So their parents came out a bit different. Let's call them, well, they was the first ones in America. So let's call them Native Americans. Now, I'm not saying this is the exact way how these things came to pass, because we all know they're not. But they made sure they had to call the Israelites something else. Because if they call the Israelites what they are, then the Israelites are going to act like what they are. And these heathens know that they have to keep them, the Israelites, from not keeping the laws, man. It don't matter whether the heathens decide to keep them or not. They have to make the Israelites not keep them. So they had to make a world where it seemed cool to sin. But in doing that, the whole earth's destroyed, man. Because the world runs at its best when people are keeping the laws of Yahweh, and Yahweh made it that way, right? Can the world run without keeping the laws? Yeah, but would it have a time limit on it? Yes. How do we know that? Except those days the scriptures say, except those days should be fulfilled. Except those days should be shortened. There should be no flesh left to be saved. But for the election's sake, those days are shortened, meaning that if the wicked carried on staying in their rulership and just keep being like, you know what, as long as we can keep the Israelites sinning, then we'll stay in charge, baby. That's how they think. Are we like when these Edomites have their secret meetings? They'll be like, okay, so how are we looking? How is it looking? Let's check the world analysis. Okay, so the fishes in the sea are dying deaths. There's all kind of beer cans and dodgy things in this waterworks. Okay, yeah, okay, good. The nutrition's down. Yep, okay. People's heights have shortened. All right, okay. But let's get to those real questions. Are we still in power? Like, how are the Israelites doing? Or they're jacked up. Look, just go look on World Star. Go look on the internet. Go look, just look at them. We got another sellout rapper recently. He's doing this. He's doing that. Okay, so we're still in charge then, yeah? Yeah, we are. Okay, that's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. But there's still these. Israelites on that are teaching that they're the Israelites though. But are we still in charge though? Okay, so I don't care about none of that. But they're saying that Yahweh Shai is coming back. Oh, okay, yeah, right, yeah, right. And then they'll get a call on the phone. You what, mate? You what? So you another chariot came by, an A1 Atlas. What? How big? It was how big? You know what? Fuck it. Let's crash the society. That's how these Edomites are dealing, man. Now, can I prove this with 100% certainty? No. But can I see that the earth's moving more rapidly to its destruction? Yes, I can. And thinking about it this way soothes my heart. Thinking about it in this kind of light soothes my soul, man. So I'm gonna think about it in my mind in this way, because we've got scriptural proof that the ancient Egyptians was having councils like this. Now, someone's gonna say, "What's my man talking about? He don't know what he's talking about. He don't know the scriptures." Well, let's see if that's true, right? Because the watch this. So, Exodus chapter 10 and verse 7, and Pharaoh's servant said unto him, "How long shall this man be a snare unto us? Let the men go, that they may serve Yahweh their power. Knowest thou not yet that Egypt is destroyed?" Now, if they said that for ancient Egypt and America's modern Egypt, you don't think that none of these secret meetings with Mr. 47 and his crew would have said, you know what, man? How long, man? How long are we going to keep these Hebrew Israelites and not tell these black, Latino, Native Americans that they're really the children of Israel? Just let them rascal go, man. Just send them back to Israel, man. And we'll just go back to Mount Seir. Don't you know already that America's destroyed? So now, I think that's hilarious, right? You got some certain Kango wearers stalking Israelites all over the country that they think certain things are funny. I think that's funny. That these elites are saying, don't you know that America's destroyed already? Like, look at, haven't you seen how China's raising up? And we're just talking all this tariff stuff. It ain't gonna work. You're talking all this tariff stuff. They don't care about them tariffs, man. They don't care. They've got their own society. The only thing we can do is go to war. And you know Russia's gonna get involved. You know Russia's gonna get involved, and you know they don't play. You know they stand on business. Okay, we're arrogant and we're proud, but they're not as proud as us, but they're capable. So how about, yeah, we just admit the truth, we admit our error, and just say, you know what, you're the real Israelites. Okay, have it. All right, have it. Or some of these Edomites might try and sincerely speak about giving reparations. You know what? How much could we really genuinely give them all? You think they'll let it go if we give them all 100K? Nah, I don't think they'd let it go for 100K. You know. All right, 250,000. Nah, I don't think they let it go for that. You know. You know what we did to them in that time. So how much do you think it's gonna be worth costing, man? Well, give or take, carry the free, square rule, Pythagoras theory, 10 million each. We can't afford that, mate. Unfortunately, we can't afford that. So you know what? We're just gonna have to not give them reparations. But then they're still gonna be mad. They're gonna be mad anyway. Would you be soothed with 10 million if they gave it to you after what we did to them? Oh, you're probably right, mate. We're fucked, innit? We're just gonna have to keep going, innit? Yeah, you are. That's the kind of things that these Edomites are saying, but they'll be saying in their own Edomite way. Yeah? They'll be saying in their own Edomite way, man. And that's why they're doing all these things to try and drain out the whole spirit of the earth, man. That's why the scriptures say, except those days should be short and there should be no flesh left to be saved, because Esau don't care if the world's completely through, as long as he's in charge. As long as when he looks up, he's in the best position, he don't care. Whereas the people that are heathen, they don't really care about being in charge as long as they get their little portion in it. It's only really the Hebrew Israelites that are even caring to want to rule other than Esau. We're the only other ones that really care about being in charge of the earth, you know. Esau cares. He wants people karogmed, running around, being on a social credit score system and that, right? We want to rule the world under Yahweh's laws. But we're the only two groups really that care to rule. Everybody else really could care less, it seems like to me. They could really care less. They don't really have the same passion for wanting to be in charge as what the Israelites have, or as what the Edomites have. And the Edomites' passion for wanting to be in charge is more so based on they know that if they're not number one, they're basically the same as last, right? Show a time in the scriptures where Esau has been comfortable being number two. Show it. You can't find it in there. When Esau was underneath the Persian Empire, right, was he not trying to usurp it and give it to themselves? Was they not? Was that not what Haman was trying to do? He's never been comfortable being number one. Being number two. He always wants to be first. Every single time, man. Because he understands the prophecy of Obadiah. Now, I said all of these things to go ultimately back to this point. And I'm going to quickly go to Judith, the 5th chapter again. Because there's something in there that I didn't read. Right, I'll read Judith chapter 5 verse 5 again. Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, so they know about us, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of thy mouth of thy servant. Now, when they say this stuff now, they won't say it like that, but they say something along these lines, right? Let my Lord now hear all the words of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning his people that dwelleth in America, that dwelleth in the UK. I'll tell you the truth concerning these black people right now, and ain't no lie gonna come out of my mouth. You see these people that we're all calling black? You see these people that we're all calling Latino? You see these people that we're all calling Native American? Okay, these are the names that we can play around and just make out like these people are those names in public. But when we get behind the curtain, when we're all in front of each other, let's cut the bullshit. They're the Israelites. And if these people ever become in charge, we're fucked. Right? Because they're going to remember every single thing that we did to them. And you see them UFO things that we keep seeing in them big ass telescopes that we got that are the size of a whole neighborhood. Yeah? Those telescopes, let's not fucking play around. Those telescopes that we're seeing, yeah? You see on those telescopes? And in them UFO things that we're seeing, within those things are the angels of God. The angels of Yahweh. Let's not fucking play around. You've saw the movements that those things do. No human could do that shit. Those are angels. And one day, if we don't do everything that we're supposed to do, Yahweh is going to be on one of those, coming right straight to us, right? And he said the prophecies, according to these Israelites, say he's going to be in the Middle East first. Do you want to fight him? Do you want to fight something that's got vehicles like that? Because I know I don't. But you know what? According to these Israelite prophecies, we might have to one day. So let's cut the bullshit. We can say that they're black publicly, but privately, let's cut the bullshit, yeah? Those are the children of Israel. Let's not fuck around. Okay, we can laugh. Ah, ha, ha, ha. They're all dumb. They're twerking online. Yeah, they're doing this. They're doing that. Their women are all twerking. We better be grateful that they're twerking. Because really, these people are supposed to be ruling over us. So we can laugh at them right now. But you see those other ones that we see in them fringes, in them garments, they know what the fuck's going on. You see those ones in them garments, motherfucker? They know what the fuck's up. So let's not play around and make it like they're all stupid. Because those ones with the fringes on, those ones that accept that they're Hebrew Israelites and have made that 12 tribe sign, those are telling the truth. We all know what tribes they are because we've been tracking them and been placing them different places. And every single time we place them somewhere, we've got our big, secret, private world map where we've clearly shown and we've got it designated, okay, the tribe of Gad, we've put them here. The tribe of Benjamin are here, and then some of them are here. We've got our own private chart, and somehow these Hebrew Israelites have got exactly the same information from one man after he had an accident, getting told this and writing it on a piece of paper. Was it one of you that gave him that information? I don't think you'd be that stupid. So obviously, whatever dream or whatever vision he said he saw, it was real. So their God's obviously starting to deal with him again. So we can play around and make out like this is a joke, but this ain't no fucking joke. This is for our freedom, motherfuckers. Now, are you with me, Ammon, or not? These are the kind of things that these heathen are saying, man. In their privacy, especially Esau. As much as that Malone guy is always laughing about things to do with the Israelites, it's so funny. Doing all this dumb laughing, he does not really think it's funny. He's really horrified. He's probably had so many nightmares about the kingdom of heaven. He probably wakes up, oh, the new covenant, the new covenant. Probably wakes up sweating, night sweats, and all kind of stuff, man. Got lasagna flowing out of his pores, right? Just fruit. Can laugh all you want. You people can laugh all you want. You, the elites, know what the hell is going on around here, man. They know exactly what's going on. They don't think this is funny. They'll smile publicly, but if they're so confident, yeah, why have they got a ritual called the cremation of care? Is that to get rid of a guilty conscience and fear to do the undoable? Or we have to do a ritual to make us believe that we can actually achieve this new world order, because really it's stupid what we're thinking. But let's do a ritual to make us believe that it's possible, so that we can keep having the confidence to keep going. Let's go to this. And Salakia with the rants and that, man. But I'm thinking, trying to get in the mindset of how these filthy heathens think, man. And these are the kind of ways that make me comfortable, thinking that these heathen are thinking behind the scenes, man. And I can't prove that they're thinking like this. But hey, the day might come where Yahweh puts a spirit on an Israelite to quote the word-for-word transcripts of a conversation between elites that day was nowhere near the vicinity, mentioning names, times, and dates and everything, people's names and everything, man. Doesn't the scripture say, and I will give you words and wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainst and resist? Think not what you shall say in that day, because it's going to turn to you for a testimony. You don't know what Yahweh can do. Didn't Yahweh put the spirit on men? Just remember every single thing that's written in the scriptures and rewrite books, rewrite whole Torahs. Didn't Yahweh give men the spirit to do that? So all you people talking about, oh, where's the original one? Bible's been changed and all that BS. Listen, man. Yahweh's put the spirit on men to rewrite the whole Bible before. It's in the scriptures, man. I believe it's it was the 14th chapter. He put the spirit on men to just rewrite the whole Bible, everything that happened from the beginning. But if you don't believe that, that's up to you. And even if he done it to rewrite one, made a man have the ability to go back and rewrite one part, what happened, then that means he could also do it to make a man rewrite everything. Judith chapter 5 and verse 17, and whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because God that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that is not theirs. And now they're saying the same thing. Okay, they'll be like, you know why these people, even in America, these black people that you're laughing at, you're showing all these videos in the back room of our meetings, and you're laughing at them all the time, yeah? Ha ha, look at them now, ha 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 ha. You know what they used to do. Okay, you're laughing at them in this state now. Yeah? But how about, okay, let me show you this video then. Let me show you this video. This is a group, Israelite group called, and then they'll put in one name. And this, look at what they believe, and look at the things that they're saying. Look at the things that they're saying about our society. They're saying that if we bring this MOTB, this technology that we all know that we have to bring, they're saying that that's going to be the main catalyst for our own destruction. So do you think it's funny? Because they are saying, you could look at them, they're saying they want it to happen. They're saying, hurry up. So you're all laughing because you found a couple of Israelites that are twerking and doing all this stupid stuff. But what about these Israelites? These are the ones that we need to worry about. They're not twerking. So what's funny? You think that we're finished? You think that our job's complete? Just because some Israelites are twerking, they might slap another Ammonite in the mouth, man. Or slap an Edomite in the mouth. You think it's funny just because some of them are twerking? So what? What about the ones that aren't twerking? Until they're all twerking and acting a fool. Our job ain't finished yet. Are they under the MOTB yet? No, they're not. So shut the fuck up, man. Spazzing out. A couple of our top ones that knew what was really going on, they just perished. You know how much wisdom they had in those 88 decades? Now we ain't got access to none of that information. And you're here laughing, giggling like a little woman. Pat, 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 pat. You know what I mean? They don't think it's a game. They know exactly what's at stake. But all you lower level Edomites talking about get them out, mate. Oh, get them out, mate. Doctors and engineers, you don't know what the hell is going on, man. Y'all don't know what's going on. Your elites know what's going on. You don't. You're still thinking it's about skin color. No, they don't care about the Israelites' skin color. They care about the Israelites being Israelites. It just so happens that the Israelites are complete opposite skin color to them. But if Jacob and Esau would have been both so-called white people or both so-called black people, Esau would have hated Jacob the same exact way. He would have just had to come up with a different method to display the hate. Esau came up with the color scheme of hatred, all being based on skin color, because the Israelites are a completely different skin color to him. He would have still hated Jacob because Jacob got the birthright and the blessing, man. But you lower level Edomites, you don't get it because you're dumb. Now your elites are still dumb as well because they're still trying to fight against Yahweh and Yahweh Shai with more information than you have at your disposal. They've seen big ass UFOs on telescopes and they're still trying it. So they're dumb as well. Maybe, perhaps, we could even go so far as to say they're more dumb than you. But they're dumber than you. If we're going to say they're dumber than you, they're still more intelligent in these worldly sense because they've got access to certain things that you don't have access to. They accept that we're the Israelites when they hear us say it, but we haven't seen them face to face in order to truly question them and what they're trying to say and anything that they might have to say against it, man. Some people have been around the Israelites of a so-called higher level and they ain't been able to diffuse it. They've had to sit back and shut their mouth, man. They haven't been bold. They haven't felt confident to tell the truth. When a certain news reporter was in front of the apostles, he wasn't bold to he wasn't too much of a coward to admit who he was. He got asked, "You're the guy in the news, isn't it?" He's like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "Nah, I'm not. That's not me. You're a lying bastard. Yeah, it is you. What are you on about?" But he was like, "Nah, it's not me. Nah. Why you lying for? Why not just admit who you are, bro? Ain't a newsman meant to be honest? You know what I mean? You're on the news and you're meant to be trustworthy." But he lied though, because he lacked the confidence to tell the truth, man. And then they told him, "Listen, man, if you're Edomite, you're going to slavery. Why am I gonna have to go? Just because you were Edomite, that's why." You mean why? Why shouldn't you? Why did we have to go? And this is what I mean. These Edomites know everything about the curses, except that they're gonna go through them, man. They know all this history on the Israelites, but except that they understand that they're gonna go through it, man. They have to. They've accepted. We can read in the scriptures. They've accepted that if we sin, we go under the curses. If we keep the law, we're blessed, and Yahweh will defend us from anything that any of these people do against us. But they haven't accepted that at the end of it all, they go under the curses. If you're a heathen, that's outside of Esau, you're under the curses forever. And the only way to kind of be in a less cursed position is going to be to keep the laws of Yahweh. Right? That's going to be the only way. And all this spiritual Israel stuff that they always so desperately wanted to talk about being, now they're going to get the chance to really be a spiritual Israel then, man. They're going to be in the same kind of settings that the Israelites was in, keeping the law, going off. I mean, keeping the law, going off, then going off, getting cursed, then keeping the law again and ended up a bit in a better position, then breaking it again. That's the position that they're getting ready to go into, man. Verse 19, but now they are returned to their God and have come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now, in the modern time, they won't be saying that, but they were like, listen, man, these Israelites were jacked up. They got sent to America in captivity, right? But now, in America, somehow, by some twist of fate, these people are wearing fringes. They're keeping those laws to their best of their ability, right? They're calling upon that name that terrifies us, that we thought we'd beat out of them for them centuries that we had them in captivity. Them centuries that we was all of us nations would always come and have a look on Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, Gad, Asher, Reuben, Zebulun, Manasseh, Ephraim, right? We just Ishakar, we'd have a laugh at them, come over, we'd travel over to America, just have a laugh. We'd have some of them Israelites sold to us and we just have a laugh. We just look at them. Yes, at a master. We just laughed at how stupid they were. But for some reason now they're not that stupid no more. They're starting to build up a small sanctuary. And other people across the world are starting to question the world in the same way that they question it. It's not funny no more. And all of this started because of some men in New York. Just from some men in New York teaching the Bible on the street, all of this destruction's happened, and you man are laughing. You guys don't know don't you know our life's on the line? That's the kind of things that these heathen are doing behind the scenes, man. Now you cannot believe this if you want to. This soothes my heart to know that they're doing this, man. You got people spazzing out on the news. You think you can unalive Mr. CARK? You are nothing. You are hate. You are hate. You are teaching hate. They're spazzing out. Who do you think they're talking to when he said all of that? They're talking to us, Israelites. You do not build. You do not build. You are teaching hate. That whole speech was towards the Israelites, man. The whole thing. Oh, there's a homegrown blah, 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 and all of this. That sounds like what Haman was saying. Homegrown this, and that's the kind of Haman's kind of speeches, man. We need to deal with the homeborn threat. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that Haman was saying. Within your provinces, there's people that it's not beneficial for them to be in your society. That's Haman talk. Right? That's how Haman was speaking, man. That's how Haman was speaking. Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against these people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up and we shall overcome them. Now, Esau is going to soothe himself in his mind concerning the children of Israel, because he's going to start really scanning the Israelites and be like, that's not the real Passover. Let me go watch some of their videos on YouTube and look at their Passover. That ain't a real Passover. Do these men have any land to make a real lamb? No. Okay, so that's not a real Passover then. So they're really breaking the Passover. They really ain't keeping it properly, so they're sinning there. We're in control of their food, so we know what we've done to the food. So that's not real food. They're sinning there. They're thinking they're not eating pork, but really we've got so many things with pork in that we haven't even put on a label. They're eating pork. So they're really sinning. So you know what? I think it's about due time that we go pay these little Israelites a visit. And these are the kind of things they're thinking in their mind, and they're going to do it. Right? Therefore rejoice ye heavens, ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down into you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. But there's an alternative to that. So they shall fear the name from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. The spirit of Yahweh, Basham Yahweh Shai, shall lift up a standard against them. So they're going to do their thing, but Yahweh is going to do his thing. And then Yahweh doing his thing, guess what? Yahweh Shai is going to do his thing. And then Yahweh Shai doing his thing, King David is going to do his thing, the elected nation of Israel is going to do their thing too. Everyone's going to be doing their thing, but the thing that's going to win is the Israelites, man, at the end of the day. And at the end of it all, to cut the lesson to the point that I was trying to make, the Edomites end up, and all the other heathen end up under the curses. The same thing that they understood so greatly about the children of Israel going through, but never considered that they was going to go through it. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Because just the same way how we went under the curses, you're going to go under. Right? You're going to face the same thing that we faced. You're going to be as cursed as we are. Right? That's going to be your lot. That you're going to be cursed, man. I'm going to end the lesson there. Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel.